Shall we start? Okay, I think it's almost 4 minutes, so we'll start. Okay, good afternoon to all. So in the last class, we solved two problems on oscillations, and I also told you that most of the problems that will be coming for your exams are going to be the direct substitution based. So therefore, you have to remember you have to know the correct formula and how to apply them. Okay, very rarely, very rarely the problem will be twisted, so it will never be twisted. Okay, all are going to be straightforward. Okay, and in the last class, I also highlighted one important thing, that is, always do not blindly substitute the values. So first make your quantity first express the quantity in question in terms of known quantities, and then finally the substitution should be the last stage of your calculation or problem solving. I emphasized on it, okay, by giving OTP as an example and so on. Okay, so therefore today what we will do, we will speed up our process of solving problems. Okay, last time I saw to it that we will be going in a very slow pace. Okay, so therefore today we will solve more number of problems. Okay, and I will not I'll not spend more than 5 minutes in one problem. Okay, I'll not spend detailing like what I did in the last class. Even for the first problem, I spent a lot of time. So therefore today we will quickly walk through the problems, how to solve it. Okay, next. So therefore look here, the last class these things happened. Which are those? We came across the list of formulas. So there were around 8 formulas. Then we solved 2 problems, correct? So today we will move from there. Okay, so we will solve third and another 3 to 4 more problems. Okay, now shall we move on? Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, shall we start? Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, Pa. So look here, now we will go to the following problem. Okay, I'll directly go to the third problem of my notes. Where shall we start, from this or? Okay. Okay, Pa. So let us look at the statement of this problem. Okay. So it is 1:57 in my watch. Therefore, let us go. Okay. Look here. This is the statement of the first problem. Sorry, this is the statement of today's first problem, which is third cumulatively. Okay. So what does that mean? What is the statement? The statement is the following. Okay. So what is that? The statement of the problem is a mass of 1.5 kg causes an extension of 0.09 meters in a spring, and the spring is set for oscillation. So what is the statement of the problem? A mass of 1.5 kg causes an extension of spring which is around 0.09 meters in a spring, and the spring is set into oscillation. So what are the things you have to find? So you have to find the force constant, angular frequency, and time period of the resulting oscillations. Okay. So what is the statement of the problem? When a body of mass 1.5 kg was suspended to a spring, and when it was set into motion, the body executed to and fro motion up and down. Okay, what are the only information given to us is the mass of the object and the extension produced by the spring, and it is set into oscillation. With these informations, we have to find what? 3 things. They are force constant, angular frequency, and time period. So therefore, let us put all these things in our three steps. Which are those? First, collect the data. Step 2, list out all things that you are supposed to find. And the third is going to be the planning part. Once you know the plan, then you have to execute it. That is going to be the solution part. Okay, therefore what are the things that are given to us? So put all things in one place, and when you are listing them, in that process itself, convert all things into SI units. Okay, therefore look here, I'll take both these stuffs in one shot. So what are the things that are given to us? What are the things that are given to us? Or the things that are given to us are extension of the spring is given, which is 0.09 meters. Then mass of the spring is given, which is 1.5 kg, and both of them are in SI units. Okay, with this, what are the things you are supposed to find? Three things. One is going to be the spring constant K, then the angular frequency omega, and the time period of oscillation T. Okay, time period of oscillation T. Okay, look here. See, once omega is known, time period T can be easily found. Okay, because time period T is equal to 2 pi by omega, or omega is equal to 2 pi f, or frequency is 1 by time period. So from that relation, omega and T can be found. So this can be found. Okay, so now first thing is we will see how to find the spring constant. So what is the formula for spring constant? So we know, as per Hooke's law, spring constant is given by K is equal to force by extension. Okay, it's given by what? Force by extension. Therefore, look here. By the way, look here. So what is Hooke's law? As per the Hooke's law, by the way, look here. If the body is suspended to a spring, a body of mass 1.5 kg, when it is suspended to a spring, what is important for us? Is it the mass acting on the body, or it is the weight of the body that is important for us when the spring extends? What is important
Weight.
for us? Weight. Correct? No? Understood? So therefore, restoring force K will be equal to what? Weight of the object by extension produced. It is weight by extension, not mass by extension. Is that clear? That you have to do. So you should have that first. That should be your first way of understanding things. So therefore, what is the force acting on the body given by? Look here, restoring force acting on the body is going to be weight by x. So therefore, what is the weight of the body given by? The force acting on the spring is given by mass into acceleration due to gravity. So what is mass? So what is the force acting on the body given by? The force acting on the body is its weight. And what is that weight? It is mass into acceleration. So what is 1.5 into 9.8? What is 1.5 into 9.8? Can someone tell me?
14.7.
14.7.
14.7. Okay. So therefore, what is the weight acting on the body given by? Weight acting on the body, or the restoring force acting, is given by 14.7 newtons. So that is the weight acting on the body. Okay. Now, what is force? What is spring constant? Spring constant is weight by extension. Correct? Weight or restoring force by extension. Therefore, what is spring constant given by? The spring constant K of the body is given by K is equal to F by X, which is, so therefore substitute the values. So what is this going to be? Look here. So what is the weight acting on the body given by? So spring constant is given by K is equal to F by X. F is 14.7 newtons. That is going to come here, and extension is 0.09, which is given here, or which is listed here. Okay. Now what is 14 by 0.09? What is 14.7 by 0.09? What will this be equal to?
163.33 Newton per meter.
Okay, nice. Okay, so that is going to be 163.33 Newton per meter. Therefore, what is the spring constant of this spring given by? K is equal to 163.33 newtons per meter. Okay, once again I'll repeat. What is that? Look here, when you are listing out the values here, you convert all things in all the given quantities in SI units here itself. You will not have any ambiguity. Okay, Clear to you all? That is very important. Okay. So therefore K is found. Next, what we have to do? Someone wants to join? Next, what we have to do? So K is known. Next, we have to find omega. So how do you find the angular frequency? Omega is equal to square root of m by k. So we'll make use of that equation. So what is the expression for omega given by? The expression for angular frequency, that is given by omega square equal to k by m, or omega equal to square root of k by m, all one and same. Okay, omega is equal to square root of k by m. So what is this going to be here? So what is so look here, k is 1.6, that has been plugged in here, m is 1.5, so therefore this has been found. So what is square root of 163.33 by 1.5? What is this value going to be? Square root of 163.33 by 1.5.
Sir, 10.4.
10.435.
How much? 1 minute. Here is my cursor. Yeah. How much it is? 10.43. 10.43. Okay, 10.43. Let me cross check what I have worked out. Okay, pa, it comes very close to that. Okay, 10.4339 radians per second. Therefore, angular frequency of the body is known, which is this. Okay, which is this. So now what are the things? K is found, omega is found, which is 10.4 or 10.339 radians per second. And once omega is done, you can find time period. So how do I find time period? Look here. So you have this equation, frequency f is equal to 1 by t, and frequency f is equal to what? This is also equal to omega divided by 2 pi. Omega divided by 2 pi, or omega is equal to 2 pi f. That is what I have made use of here. Okay, so what is frequency given by? F is equal to omega divided by 2 pi, which is equal to 1 by t, which is equal to 1 by t. So this, if I write and put it here, look here, in this, what is required for me? What is required for me is omega is known. I have to find t. Therefore, what you have to do, now you ignore this f part, ignore this f. So how is omega and t connected? This is the equation. So if I have to find time period, what I have to do? Simply take the reciprocal or rearrange the terms. Okay, so if I take the reciprocal, what will happen? Taking the reciprocal on both sides, RECI, I'll just write it like this. Okay, if I take the reciprocal on both sides, what I'll get? T will be equal to, so we'll have T is equal to 2 pi by omega. Bring it here. Someone wants to join. Okay, now look here. So what is T? What is 2 pi by omega? So it is 2 into 3.14 divided by omega is 10.4339, which is this. So what will this value come out to be? What is this ratio work out to be? 2 3s are 6, 6 by 10, 2 1s are 2,
0.602.
0.6 seconds, sir.
0.6 seconds. Okay, fine. 0.6 seconds. So therefore, what is this going to be? So 0.602 seconds. Okay. Therefore, what is the final answer? Final answer means for time period, this is the answer. Okay. So what is the answer? Answer is this. Okay. So time period of oscillation is given by 0.602 seconds. Okay. Clear? No? So as I told in the last class, what is that? Always express the quantity in question in terms of known quantities. Always express the quantity in question in terms of known quantities, and plugging the values should be the last step. That should be the last step. LS, last step. Okay, clear to you all? Okay, So I think now we'll move on to the fourth problem. Okay, fourth problem is related to find the effective spring constant of the following system. Okay, so therefore statement I'll not copy. What is the problem? Problem is to find, fourth problem talks about what? Find the effective spring constant of this following system of springs that are arranged as shown in the figure. So therefore what I will do, I'll copy the figure and then we'll list out what are the things that are given to us. Okay, look here, this is the figure 1, figure 2. Okay, okay, pa. Look here, this is the set of springs that are connected. How many springs are connected? 5 springs. Okay. Now, what are the values of spring constants? The values of spring constants are as given as per this specification that is given here. Okay. So, what is that? What has been given are the following. So, therefore, let me understand that. Let us read it out. So, what is the statement of the problem? What are the things that are given here is, you can see in this, you can see here in this. So, can you see here? There are 3 springs K1, K2, K3 which are connected end to end, or it is a series connection. Okay. Next, what is about K4 and K5? K4 and K5 is like doing pull-up exercise. Therefore, K4 and K5, they are connected in parallel. So, what is our goal? If 5 springs are arranged as shown in figure 1, then you have to find the effective spring constant of this entire combination. Entire combination, you have to find the effective spring constant of this entire combination. This is clear? Okay. So, what is our goal? Goal is to find the spring constant of this entire combination. What is our goal? Our goal is to find the effective spring constant of this entire spring combination. Okay. Now, first let us see what are the values that are given to us. What are the values that is given? K1 is 3000 newtons. How much is this? This is 3000 newtons per meter. What is K2? K2 is 1500 newtons per meter. What is K3? K3 is, sorry, I think this is K1, K2. Yeah. K3 is 2000 Newton per meter. What is the value of K4 and K5? The values of K4 and K5, what is that? 800 newtons per meter. Therefore, how do we do it? Okay. So as it's already, as we always do. Okay. This is what we do even in electronic circuits. For example, if you want to build a say TV. Okay, so TV will have essentially 3 elements, the different components that are required to make a TV, that will be broken into a small set of circuits. Okay, we may call it as amplifier, modulator, receiver, and so on. Likewise, when you are given a big problem, you will break the problem into smaller number of sub problems and you will solve each of those sub problems. Finally, what you will do, you will combine all the results of these small problems. In that way, you will be able to complete the, you would have been in a position to solve the entire problem. Okay, what does that mean? This we call it as divide and conquer strategy in computer science. Okay, divide and conquer strategy in computer science. Okay, what does that mean? Let me undo all the steps. Okay, what is our goal? Goal is to find the effective spring constant of this entire combination. Therefore, how we are going to do? Step 1. What you do is, you find what is the effective. Look here, I'll break this into 3 small problems. Okay, first, find the step 1. Find the effective spring constant. Find the spring constant of this 3 put in series. This is step 1. Step 2. What is step 2? Find the effective spring, find the spring constant of this parallel combination, that is K4 and K5 put together. What is step 3? Step 3 is take this result, you would have got the effective spring constant of this entire system. Okay, is that clear? Is that clear to you all? So this entire, the big problem is broken into 3 smaller problems which are easy to handle. Okay, so therefore, what is step 1? So for how do we solve it? So in the figure, you see that K1, you see that the springs K1, K2 and K3 are in series. That is what I have shown here. Okay, figure, you see that K1, K2, K3 are in series and these are the respective values. These are the respective values. So if the springs are in series, what is the effective spring constant given by? If the springs are in series, what is their effective spring constant given by? Look here. So if Ks is the effective constant, if Ks is the effective spring constant of the series combination, okay, the series combination I will call it as by one single spring called as Ks. Then what is the relation you have? You see that 1 by Ks will be equal to 1 by K1 plus 1 by K2 plus 1 by K1. So let me take a bigger one. So what will be the expression for Ks for those 2 springs, for those 3 springs? Okay, look here. This is what we call it as focus. Okay, Arjuna one, the story goes where once the Drona wanted to test out of all his students, who is the one who is able to grasp things in a much better way. Okay, and story goes telling that there was a doll, there was a bird which is made of doll, it was hanged to a parrot, and each archer were asked to shoot the eye of a parrot. So in that case, what happened? It was only Arjuna who told that he can only, when he aimed, he told that he can only see the eye of a parachute and he cannot see anything else other than that. Likewise, when you are solving this problem, right now, your focus should be only on these 3 springs. On these 3 springs. Don't focus on others. Don't focus on K4, K5. Okay? Focus only on K1, K2, K3. So keep your focusing power very high. Your focusing power, you have to keep it with it should be of high standard. Set it to a high standard. Yes. Okay. Now,
Sir, excuse me, sir.
help up.
Sir, some students are trying to join the class, sir.
Okay, pa. Yeah. Anyone else is there? That's all. Fine. Okay. If they message you, let me know. I'll allow you. Okay. Fine. Okay. So I want to solve. Find this series combination. So only K1, K2, K3 should be in your mind, just like Arjuna. Okay. So only that should be there in your mind. Other things should not be there at all. Therefore, if I focus only on K1, K2, K3, plug in these values. Okay. Plug in these values. Then what the expression I'm going to get? Okay. What is the expression I'm going to get? Look here. Look here once again. Look here. Here Ks is the quantity that in question. It has been completely expressed in terms of given quantities. Therefore, I can find Ks, or to find Ks, I have to just take the reciprocal, which is easier. Okay, no, clear? Okay, now if I plug in the values, okay, what I'm going to get, 1 by Ks will be equal to, I'll take a bigger one. Okay. Okay, can you see here? This is 1 by Ks. Yes. Okay, now I think you can see. So what is 1 by, what is this? It is going to be 1 by K1, 1 by 3000 plus 1 by 1500 plus 1 by 2000. Okay, and I think it's all just a multiples of 100 or 1000. Therefore, what I will do, I will just take 1 by 1000 out of the bracket. If I take 1 by 1000 out of the bracket, what you are going to get? 1 by 3 plus 1.5 plus 1 by 2. Correct? Therefore, what is going to be our next step? If I take 1000 common, okay? If I take 1000 common, take 1000 common, this is what I'm going to get. Okay, so you have 3, 1.5, 2. What is the LCM of 3, 1.5 and 2? It is 6. Therefore, that will give rise to this 6 and other things we know. So in the numerator of what is 3 by 6, 2, that will give rise to this. What is 1.5 by divide 6 by 1.5, 4, that is this. 2 3s are 6, that is this. Okay, I think all students know this. Now what is this value going to be? So what is 2 plus 4 plus 3? 9 by 6. Okay, so what is 9 by 6 into 1000? What is 9 by 6 into 1000? Will someone work out? 3 3s are 9, 3 2s are 6. So 3 by 2 is 1.5. So what is this going to be? 1.5 divided by 1000 or 1.5 divided by 1000 or 1.5 into 10 power minus 3. Okay. What is this? Ks or 1 by Ks? It's actually 1 by Ks. So therefore, look here, what you are going to get? 1 divided by Ks will be equal to this. Okay. That's what gives rise to precisely this equation here. Okay. So what is 1 by Ks? 1 by Ks is equal to 1.5 into 10 power minus 3. Okay. Therefore, what is Ks? Take the reciprocal of this equation. What is Ks? Let me go to paint. So what is Ks? Ks is, take the reciprocal of this equation. Reciprocal of this equation is what? 1000 by 1.5. Therefore, what is Ks? Thousand by 1.5. What is this value? Will someone tell me?
667 Newton per meter, sir.
Okay, yes, 667 newtons per meter. Yes. Okay. So this value will work out to be what? 667 Newton per meter. Okay. Let me put it here. Okay. So what we have done is we are still in step 1. What is that? I found the effective spring constant of this series combination, which came out to be around 667 newtons per meter. Next, look here. Now we'll focus on what? Now we'll focus on this parallel combination. Okay, parallel combination. Therefore, now focus only on K4 and K5. What is the effective spring constant of that parallel combination given by? If I call it as Kp, that will be equal to K4 plus K5. Okay, K4 plus K5. For that parallel combination, what is that going to be? K4 plus K5. K4 and K5 are equal to how much? 800. K4 and K5, they are each equal to how much? 800. Can you see here? They are each equal to 800. Therefore, what is 800 into 2? 1600. Okay. Therefore, Kp will be equal to 1600 newtons per meter. Okay. What is step 1? Find the effective spring constant of this. Find the effective spring constant of this series. That is done. Step 2, focus on this parallel. That's done. Okay. Next, what we do? Replace the whole thing by a simple figure. Okay. If I replace that by a simple figure, what is my new figure going to be? Can you see here? If I replace that by 5 springs by 2 springs given as Ks and Kp, this is what my figure is going to be simplified as. Suppose I put it here. Now can you see here that here Ks is in parallel with Kp. Therefore, what is the effective spring constant of this combination? It will be equal to Ks plus Kp. Okay, got my point? Therefore, to see that if K equivalent is the equivalent spring constant of Ks and Kp, so they are in turn parallel to each other as shown in this figure 2. Therefore, what is K equivalent given by? K equivalent will be equal to, okay, I will write it here, put it here. What is K equivalent will be equal to? Ks plus Kp. What is Ks? 667 newtons per meter. Sorry, 667 newtons per meter. Kp is 1600. What is 1600 plus 667? So it's going to be 7. 6 plus 0 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. Carry 1. So what is the effective spring constant of this entire combination given by? 1267 or 1267.66 newtons per meter. Okay.
Sir, 2267.
Yeah, 2267. Sorry. 2267. Therefore, what is the final answer? Final answer is K equivalent is equal to 2267 newtons per meter. Okay. This is our final answer. Okay. Clear to you all? This is our final answer. Okay. Let me try to do things in a fancy way. Okay, can you see? This is our final answer. Okay, now this is the solution of the fourth problem. Okay, now we'll move on to solving the fifth problem. Okay, all of you are with me? Okay, so I think you all had lunch. Therefore, let us have 15 seconds of break. Okay, 15 seconds, 1-5 of break. Okay. Okay. Okay, now we'll move on to solving the fifth problem. Okay, what is the statement of the fifth problem? Look here. So let me 135. Oh, great. Okay, Pa, what is the statement of fifth problem? I think I'll make someone to read. EC32. EC32, you're there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, great, Ma. Great. Okay, can you read the statement of this problem?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Pa. Read up. Can you
A
read
free
the
particle
statement of
is
this problem?
a free
Start.
particle is executing. A free particle is executing simple harmonic motion in a straight line. The maximum velocity it attains during any oscillation is 120 meter per second.
Yes.
Find the frequency of the oscillation if its amplitude is 0.5 meter.
0.5 meters. Okay, great. Thank you, Ma. Thank you. Okay. Now, all of you kindly focus. Okay. What is the statement of the problem? The problem states that a free particle, statement tells that a free particle is executing simple harmonic motion in a straight line. Okay. For example, it may be a spring that is it may be a mass that is suspended, a body which is suspended to a spring, and it is set into up and down vertical vibration. A mass that is attached to a spring, it may be subjected to up and down motion. Okay, so that is a motion in a straight line. So let us consider that, let us have that in our mind. Okay, let us hypothesize or imagine that in our mind. Okay, so a free particle is executing simple harmonic motion in a straight line. Now, what were the observations that were made? The observations that were made was the maximum velocity that the body attains. What is the velocity it attains? Is it simply a velocity or maximum velocity? It's a maximum velocity. So the maximum velocity attained by the object is 120 meters per second. What you are supposed to find? We are supposed to find the frequency of the oscillation if the amplitude of the oscillation happens to be half meter or 0.5 meters. All of you got the statement of the problem, no? The body suspended to a spring. Okay, a body is suspended to a spring of mass m, for example. This is set into motion, so it is moving up and down. Okay, so when it is moving up and down, what has been assumed, what has been observed was maximum velocity was 120 meters per second, amplitude of oscillation was 0.5 meters. So with this data, you have to find the frequency of oscillation. Okay, so sometimes this may be a real life example also. Okay, so for instance, if you know the speed of a tsunami, okay, speed of the tsunami and the amplitude of the tsunami wave, we may be interested to know whether it is only one wave which is coming or 5-6 waves that are going to come one after the other. Okay, so therefore frequency plays an important role when we want to measure the arrival of tsunamis, okay, during earthquake. Okay, now, so therefore with this, let us move on. So look here, what are the things that is given? Again, list out all the things that are given, and also the list out all quantities that you are supposed to find. Okay, therefore in one shot I will extract these two elements. So what are the things that is given to us? I'll take a little bit high. Yeah. Okay, so whatever is required is there in this slice that I have selected. Yeah. Okay, now look here, as usual. What are the things given? Things that is given to us is maximum velocity attained by an object is 120 meters per second. What is the amplitude of oscillation? 0.5 meters. With this, what you are supposed to find? We are supposed to find the frequency f. Frequency f of the oscillation. Frequency of oscillation f we have to find. So how we are going to do? Okay, look here. Here it is little bit peculiar. Okay, what has been given is maximum velocity and amplitude, and somehow you have to find a connection between frequency and these parameters. Therefore, how do we start? First, what you do is to start with by telling that the displacement of any periodic motion, the displacement of any periodic signal, sorry, the displacement of any simple harmonic motion, we know that it can be completely described by a sinusoidal signal. Therefore, we'll proceed with that. We'll proceed that as our starting point. Okay, so what is that? So once you know the displacement, differentiate it, you can find velocity. Once velocity is done, if you find omega, if you are able to find omega, then f can be evaluated. Okay, therefore let us focus how it can be done in terms of a given information or in terms of the given specifications of the problem. Okay, now look here. First, what we do, as usual, let the displacement x of the simple harmonic motion, let the displacement x of the simple harmonic motion be given by, okay, I already told all simple harmonic motion can be completely described by a sinusoidal signal. Therefore, let that be given by x of t is equal to a into sine of omega t. Okay, let me take a larger. Let that be given by x equal to a into sine of omega t. Okay, so what is the displacement of the object given by? Displacement of the object is given by x of t is equal to a into sine of omega t, and I will call this as equation 1. I'll call it as equation 1. Okay, look here, this is not simply x, this actually x is a function of time. Okay, the displacement will vary with the time. Okay, x is a function of time. Okay, x is a function of time. Therefore, how do you find the velocity of the object? velocity of the object, you know that it is given by dx by dt. V is equal to dx by dt. Correct? So therefore, if I differentiate this equation, what is the expression for velocity I will get? Look here. What is, suppose I use a different color. What is, so a is a constant, so I'll have a. Okay. What is d by d of sine theta? Cos theta. Therefore, it is going to be cos of omega t. Okay. Then what you have to do? We should also be able to differentiate omega t with respect to t. If you differentiate, what will happen? Omega will come out. Okay. Therefore, velocity of the simple harmonic motion is given by v is equal to dx by dt, which is a omega into cos of omega t. That is precisely is this equation. Okay. The velocity of the object is given by v is equal to dx by dt, which is equal to a omega into cos of omega t. That is precisely is this equation. Okay. So all people are with me. People are with me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Or you have just switched off and you'll come after 10 minutes for attendance. No. I've actually developed a software, an app. Okay. Whenever I post some interactive questions with students and whatever their response they give, that will be put in a set called pooling set. And this response will be collected and it will come even for other sections as well when I post the same question. Okay, clear? No, I have developed an app or a software based on machine learning to do this. Okay, therefore I can find who is active and who is inactive if I run the code. Okay, clear to you all? Okay, now all of you are with me. No, by just substitute, by considering displacement as this, and I found velocity is given by this equation. Okay, now look here. This is the last part. Okay, now look here. What is given to us? Simply velocity or maximum velocity? What has been given to us? Simply velocity or maximum velocity? It's a maximum velocity, correct? No. Now look here. There is one nice property of a trigonometric function. Okay. What is that? Suppose I take it in a doc file. Okay. For example, understand this. How to find maximum velocity from the expression? You will know immediately. For example, if I write v is equal to, okay, v or y is equal to 100 into cos theta. Okay, see there is one nice property of trigonometric function. Okay, for example, if I take y is equal to 100 times cos theta. Okay, look here, we all know that the value of cos theta or sin theta, they will always lie between +1 and -1. Therefore, what is 100 into 1? 100. Okay, if you are given expression like this, y is equal to 100 into cos theta, no, the maximum value of y, suppose I write it as y max. Okay, y max will be equal to what? Maximum value of y is going to be 100. Okay, 100 into 1, which is 100. Okay, got my point? So whenever you are having a trigonometric function, the maximum value is going to be what? The coefficient of cos theta term. Okay, is this clear? Is this point clear to you all? Is this point clear to you all? What is the maximum value of a function that is expressed in terms of trigonometry given by? It's going to be what? The maximum value is going to be what? Yeah, maximum value is going to be the coefficient of cos theta. Coefficient of cos theta is 100, that has come here. Okay, it's nothing but 100 into 1 to be strictly speaking, it is this. Okay, don't worry. Coefficient of cos theta is going to be, cos term is going to be maximum value. Likewise, in this expression, what is the coefficient of cos theta? It is a omega. Okay, no, coefficient of cos term is a omega. That is the maximum velocity of the object given by. Therefore, what we have is V max is equal to a omega. Okay, so what we have, maximum velocity V max is equal to what? A omega. This is simply the coefficient of cos term as I described in my doc file here. Okay, so now look here. What you are supposed to find? I want F or omega. So what is omega? Omega is V max by A. Omega will be equal to V max by A. This A is going to come here. Therefore, that's what gives rise to this equation. I'll close this. Okay. Therefore, what is omega? Angular frequency omega is equal to V max by A. So, okay, clear? Clear to you all? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, what is omega? Is my cursor? Yes. So, here, so omega is equal to V max by A. V max is 120 meters per second. Amplitude of oscillation is 0.5. So what is 120 by 0.5? So 0.5 is actually half. So 120 is 240 radians per second. Okay, 240 radians per second. Therefore, what is angular frequency going to be? 240 radians per second. Once this is obtained, I can find the linear frequency. Okay, what you are supposed to find? Linear frequency F. Linear frequency F here. Correct? Therefore, what is linear frequency given by? Linear frequency F. Omega is equal to 2 pi F, or F is equal to omega divided by 2 pi. Okay, omega divided by 2 pi. So what will this be equal to? Look here. What is 240 by pi is 3.14. So 2 3s are 6. What is 240 by 6? Find it. 240 by 2 pi.
38.216.
38.21 hits, sir.
How much, ma?
So 38.21 hits.
38.217.
Yes, pa. 2 pi. 1 minute. Let me write it down here. How much it will work out to be?
38.21 hits.
38.21 hertz. Correct? No? Yeah. 38.21 hertz. How much I got? Must be very close to that. Okay. Yes, pa. I got close to that. 38.216 hertz. Okay. So this is our final answer. Okay. So final answer. So let us make some decoration for it. Let us take green color. Okay, this is our final answer, 38.216 hertz. Okay, so another 2 more problems are there. You work it out. I will also take an extra class and finish in some 10 minutes time, 10 or 20.